one of the movies that we know is coming that kind of caught the world by surprise, because out of the 735 announced Star Wars movies that never came to pass, one of the ones that we had not heard about was one being directed by Shawn Levy. It kind of came out of nowhere and they dropped it. Shawn Levy's directing a Star Wars movie. Oh, and by the way, Ryan Gosling's going to be in it. And by the way, Amy Adams is going to be in it. And oh, by the way, overall, it's a pretty stacked cast. And oh, by the way, it's actually shooting. We're going to start shooting it in a few weeks. And sure enough, they did. Well, director Shawn Levy, who of course also did the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, he just put up on his social media this picture of himself kind of running along the wall. And he wrote, "That's a wrap. Headed into Starfighter post-production and he's running around on the wall." It's a clever picture. I like it. Black and white. Funny. Very cool. But Rob, this in a world where we every week get 4 Star Wars movies announcements, and every other week we get the announcement of 4 Star Wars projects no longer happening, where promises are made and never kept. In a world where we haven't had a Star Wars movie in theaters in 6 years, heading into 7. They not only announced this movie, they actually did start shooting it, and now it's actually done. And it raises the question for me about what are we expecting out of it? Not just in terms of the movie itself, but can a movie like Starfighter, because again, unlike some other Star Wars projects, this has a great director, a successful director, a really solid writer, a brand new environment, which is something some Star Wars fans like myself have been begging. Please, for God's sake, Star Wars, the universe is huge and vast. That's the beauty of this world that George Lucas created. Can we move beyond bumping into 12 characters we already know every time we do something? It seems like a whole new element, a whole new part of the galaxy, maybe a time period they haven't exactly touched on yet. It looks great. What are we expecting that this movie can do for the overall state of Star Wars? How are you feeling about now that it's actually finished production? And how ultimately important is this movie to the future of Star Wars? How are you seeing this?
Well, I feel that this film is, in a way, it's a make or break film for the Star Wars franchise, because I've always wanted to see, I feel like with these big sprawling universes, whether it's Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, we want to see the very thing that Starfighter is trying to do. Tell us a brand new, unique story set in the universe that we love, where the universe itself is very recognizable. And we love all the iconography of the universe. And you have a very charismatic lead in Ryan Gosling. If there's a great story to be told, another hero's journey that feels legitimate. I mean, they're not even touching on, I would imagine, the Force or the Jedi, because everything, like, I think the Acolyte really put people off because it tried to change what the Force was. Like, you don't get to do that.
Dude, that's not what turned me off. What turned me off was it was crap.
Well, yeah,
that's the thing. It was just crap. That's what turned me off.
Yeah, I mean that too. I did want to, but I think we have seen pilots. I mean, the idea of pilots being in this universe. Han Solo was a pilot. Red Leader, Gold Leader, all these guys that we know. So the idea of examining the life of a starfighter, of a pilot, Maverick, that's why Top Gun worked. And I think that if you come up, and I'm sure it's Shawn Levy, and he's like the director of Paddington, he really knows how to tell a character-based story that you can, I mean, going back to like what, Real Steel, and I think he's a great.
Oh God, I loved Real Steel.
I mean, dude, he knows how to set up real characters in fictional situations.
By the way, how good is it to be Shawn Levy right now? Like, bro, even just right now, he just did the $1.3 billion film Deadpool and Wolverine. He's now got his final season of Stranger Things now coming out, and he's got a Star Wars movie coming out. How good is it to be Shawn Levy right now?
And he's always got a smile on his face, and he's always happy to talk about whatever's going on. He must be the happiest man in Hollywood.
Yeah.
believe it or not. No, so I'm excited. I mean, look, man, you know what? When I was a kid, one of my favorite things in the world was an X-Wing fighter, and I dreamed if there's one thing I could dream of, I didn't wanna be Luke Skywalker. I wouldn't wanna but when I was a kid, when I saw Star Wars, I'm like, "I wanna fly an X-Wing, bruh." Come on. I didn't say bruh, but I wanted to fly an X-Wing. And I think that whether it's a Naboo starfighter, whether it's an X-Wing, whether it's a TIE fighter, I would imagine that this character is going to fly multiple vehicles in the film. So I can't wait.
Oh yeah, 100% it is. And look, it's really weird because the next thing we have coming up, and I really think they are making a mistake. The next thing coming up, of course, is Mandalorian and Grogu. And I almost feel like if you believe Starfighter is good, and I'm hearing they're really liking it, and that's fine. If you think Starfighter's good, you put it out first, because I think that can really help Mandalorian and Grogu if you then put it out later, if you get Star Wars back on some solid footing. But like right now, Mandalorian and Grogu, and I know we've had this conversation before, but like I'm still a little bit baffled by the decision to do a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Because the perception of it is fair or unfair, right or wrong. The perception is, so it's just glorified 2 episodes of the TV show put on, and they're taking it to the theaters after what is universally agreed upon to be their worst season. Like I'm a big fan of Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Season 3 was, let's just say it was just not good. Right? So,
Which is not great marketing for the movie, and people are watching it even now.
oh, not at all. And so I'm really questioning that. So you're going to have that come in theaters. And listen, I'm not going to completely discard it because it's Jon Favreau. If anybody's going to make that work, it's going to be Jon Favreau. Okay. But I just kind of feel like it could have benefited from Starfighter coming out first. Whatever. So now here we are, and we've got Starfighter coming out. And man, listen, while this isn't going to get the fanfare of another pivotal film like Superman, DC, the first DCU Superman movie, while it's not going to get the fanfare of, say, Avengers Doomsday that's coming out, I kind of feel like this Starfighter movie is in that kind of same position where it almost feels like we're at a make or break point for Star Wars, right?
I think so too.
And I think, especially with Andor coming out, there's a lot of us out here that are still like, okay, so there's clearly still hope. Like Andor is the best Star Wars thing ever made since the original trilogy. So it's like, okay, so clearly there's still hope, but now let's get back into the theaters. We're going to get Mandalorian and Grogu. I have a feeling people are going to give it a pass if it's not all that good, because again, it's just the extension of the television series. But Starfighter, a true brand new feature film experience, with one of the hottest directors in Hollywood, solid writer, amazingly packed cast, all this kind of stuff. It kind of feels like a little bit make or break. And I just hope it's make. I just hope it does it well and is able to deliver, because I do trust these guys, man. You got a good Canadian kid in there, and Ryan Gosling grew up just up the street from me. And you got Shawn Levy, who is like as hot can be right now. So here's hoping it all works out. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this episode, PrizePicks. Honestly, this is the best time of year for sports. We've got hockey, basketball's heating up, football pushing towards the playoffs, and big games happening every single night. And while we can sit around and argue about which team's going to win, there's one place where it just feels good to be right, and that's PrizePicks. What I love most about PrizePicks is just how simple it is. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, build your lineup, and that's it. No drafts, no season-long commitments, just jump in whenever you want. And I have been having a blast making lineups while watching games, and it honestly makes every matchup way more fun to follow. One of the coolest things about it is that they've just added early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. And I also love how flexible it is. Whether you're going for safer, flex play, or bigger power plays, PrizePicks makes everything super clear with their payout multipliers. So here's what you do. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code Campea to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Campea to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Shawn Levy has come out and announced that they have wrapped production on Star Wars Starfighter. How important do you think this film is going to be to the overall, situation of Star Wars right now? Do you have high anticipation for it? Are you like, can't get too excited till I see a trailer? Totally understand that too. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.